Hey guys, Bandeth here, and welcome to the JAWA Podcast Season 3, Episode 5. I'm joined by Nightwing and Starkiller, and myself, obviously, and Diab is recording once again. Today, I have gathered you here to discuss some disturbing news. We're going to talk about our first impressions and experiences when joining JAWA. Nothing disturbing, of course. Just quoting a little Jedi Academy there. We have some questions lined out that we're going to answer and give our thoughts on. I'll just go over the questions really quickly, and then we'll get started. Our first question is, what was it about JAWA that made you want to join? The next one was, what was our first experience that we can remember, like our earliest memories? Our first impressions of the council, our first impressions of the rules and how the rules are enforced. I know a lot of you will be looking forward to that topic, Kappa. Has your impression changed of the clan since it was, is it different now than your first impression was, essentially? And we're going to start with Nightwing, so I'm going to toss it over to Nightwing. He's going to answer the question, what was your first, or what was it about JAWA that made you want to join?
Hi. Nothing really. I joined JAWA mainly because my friends were in it at the time and they wanted me to join. I didn't really know what JAWA was or who JAWA was, because I'd just come from Xbox, didn't really play on the PC at all, so I didn't really know what I was signing up for when I signed up for it.
Alright. What about you, Starkiller?
I joined because I would play on the JP server and Pearl would come on and she was call time and I'd watch how she act and stuff, and it just gave me the impression that all of JAWA was the same way. Friendly, and a lot more kid-friendly at the time. For me, I was, younger, so I decided, heck, why not give JAWA a chance?
It's good that visiting other servers caused us to get a member. One as esteemed as Starkiller. Alright, so I'm going to give what made me want to join JAWA in the first place. I first joined back in 2010, so even though I'm only 20 years old, I am considered a veteran, old and crippled. I first wanted to join because, honestly, I just came on the server and I saw so many people, and I think there was an event going on too. Geek might have been hosting it. And I don't know, I participated in the event and I thought it was really fun. And I was like, oh, well, there's a bunch of people here having fun. They all seem very nice, and nothing bad was happening. So I figured, okay, I might as well throw in an app and see how it goes. I actually didn't expect to get in, but I was very pleasantly surprised when I was accepted. All right, well, we'll go to our next question, which is, what's the first or earliest experience that you can remember in the clan? Start with that. Yeah.
The first experience I can remember with JAWA was before I actually applied. I entered the server under a different name other than what I joined with, and I was basically insulted for having this name that I had. So I left the server and renamed, and then I came back after I applied then, and yeah, after that it was all good. Everyone was friendly, and I think one of the first things I remember was sort of like meeting Link, and Link obviously being his weird usual self, and then just yeah. Other than that, it's just very friendly and sort of like, because it was one of the bigger clans that I'd seen, it was sort of very appealing because I'd always wanted to join a very large clan. Back on Xbox, we could only have like 8 players per server, so that was something really new to me.
What was your name? Just a bit curious about the name that people made fun of.
It was an element called Xenon, and I can't remember why they was making fun of it, but it was yeah, it was not really something to make fun of, but for some reason they did.
And you renamed to Rotherham, right?
Yeah, Sir Rothran, yeah.
Yeah. I
Which
remember.
no one knew.
Good old initiate Rotherham.
Alright, well, what's the earliest?
My first experiences as Nightwings was, before I even joined, I like the first or second time I joined the server, and I was just doing that cool grapple RDFA thing, and I accidentally hit Helena, and to her it looked like it was on purpose, so she slapped me.
Oh!
And I said, it was an accident, I swear.
Starkiller was an exemplar member even before.
There's no admin report. I've checked actually when I got admin.
There is or isn't?
No, there isn't.
Oh.
There's a few Starkillers, and there was one that I thought was mine because it was all in caps. I'm like, oh boy, here it is, and it's not me, it's some Russian person.
Oh. Okay, I have to admit, that was an interesting story. I did not know that. I already gave my first experience, which was the event, but the first experience I remember after I got into JAWA was probably right before a clan match. Link was asking me if he thought I was good enough to participate in the clan match, and I said I thought I was decent. I thought I was 7 out of 10 on the skill level scale, but looking back, I know I was a baddie. I was not very good, but I was good enough, and I think we won the match. So, yeah, that was my second earliest experience. And on to our next question. Nightwing, what was your first impression of the current council when you joined the clan?
I can't really remember everyone who was on the council, apart from like Kirby and like all the older ones. The ones that really stuck out to me, and have obviously ever since, was Helena, Link, and Zoo. They are sort of the ones who I sort of looked at and thought, oh damn, I better not mess up here. They sort of carried that weight with them, I think, that you knew not to mess around when they were looking at you, I guess. Not that I ever broke any rules, I was always good. But, yeah, just very sort of authoritarian, I guess. Like, you knew when they entered the server that there was a council member, and you sort of had to do what they had to say, I guess, in a way.
I have to agree with you. Like, I'll just briefly touch on me, and we'll go back to Starkiller. I also felt the same way about Zoo, Helen, and Link. They were like the trifecta of authority. Like Zoo's quietness, like he was completely silent. I was like, oh god, I want to do something wrong, but make him speak. Like, that is bad. Helena was always very friendly though, but she does speak with an authoritative voice sometimes. And Link, it was very rare that I saw Link get upset or anything like that. He was usually just a fun comedian. So what was your first impression of the council, Starkiller, the council that...
Okay. Well, after the experience I told you about, I was kind of afraid of Helena. And obviously Fox was on the council because he welcomed me, and then my impression of Fox was the same thing I had of Link. He's a jokester, fun to hang around with, likes to make jokes about me a lot. And as Nightwing said, Zoo kind of scared me too. It's those silent types that always scare people. But as I got in more, like maybe like a month or so, I thought they were helpful, open armed, and kind.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just trying to think if I have anything more to say. Oh yeah, Selkath was the one who welcomed me in, and I always appreciated Selkath's kindness. He seemed very excited when I only stayed for a month, and then I left, and then I rejoined again. And Selkath was very kind and seemed excited that I had rejoined, and I've always appreciated that. But we'll go on to our next question, which was our first impression of the rules and how rules were enforced in JAWA. Keep in mind, this is back in the old admin system where we were a bit harsher, and we'll go with Nightwing again.
The rules, I thought, they used to be very strict, from my point of view when I first joined. Like I said, I don't recall really ever breaking them, but I'm not sure whether I did or not. I know one of the first things I remember about the rules is that it wasn't really a rule. It was like we was doing a Merc War. Link started a random Merc War on the server, and I started spamming the concussion rifle, and yeah, I was demerked for that, and just thought, oh, I better not start shooting anyone anymore. So I just ended up leaving the server for a bit.
Oh, well, I mean, sometimes rage quitting, I'm not sure about rage quitting, but sometimes rage quitting, like, sends a bad message, but sometimes it's the right thing to do, like, if things aren't going well, and you might say something, or something that you'll regret, so it all depends on the situation you're in.
Yeah.
So what about you, Starkiller? Well, I mean, you already told us that you got admin by Helena, but what did you do?
The rules, as I said, I began on the JP server. I applied there a few times, and the rules are a lot more, not as enforced. Like, you can swear, and sometimes they let laymen go, but coming to JAWA, I thought they were kind of strict at first, because of the whole PG thing, but the same thing as the last question, like, a few months in, I got used to them, I liked them, and it helped me get rid of the tendency that I would have to swear on the servers. Except for today, when I let one go by accident.
And we have that screenshotted and reported, don't worry.
What?
I had the same similar impression of you of the rules. Like, I thought they were a little bit strict at first, but I got used to them pretty quickly just because I was like, oh, okay, well, I just want to have a family-friendly server. And while it does, quote-unquote, take away from your freedom, it's really not that hard to not swear. And plus, we have a TeamSpeak server where you can swear, so it's not like you don't have the opportunity to fully express yourself. It's there if you want.
Okay. And Disney just restricts himself so much.
Alright, so for our last question, we're also going to start with Nightwing once again, because he's the newest member, technically, even though he is of higher rank than both me and Starkiller.
Signs up for JAWA, gets leader.
Yeah. Alright, leader Nightwing, has your impression of JAWA changed when you first joined compared to now?
Completely. I think once you, because I'd like to think that there are multiple sides of JAWA, what you can see and what you can't, and being a member is sort of that one view, and then being a council is another, and then being a leader is totally different because you're sort of looking at every single part of the clan as a whole, and sort of the future of the clan. So the impression pretty much for every single thing has changed or sort of gotten larger, I guess.
Yeah, I would actually say that, to me, I think it's gotten smaller just because I'm used to everything. So the clan doesn't seem as vast now, especially since the more clubs you get in, the more access you have. So it's like not everything's behind closed doors anymore. But I would say that I have more fun now than I did when I first joined. But when I first joined, it seemed like the clan was larger. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Has your impression changed, Starkiller?
Yeah, it has. When I, being young and naive as I was, when I first joined the clan, I was all about the ranks and how many there were and just fitting in real well. Okay, shut up. But now, as if you would look at the testimonial page and find my testimonial, I think JAWA is a family. Close-knit family, being not such a huge clan, but big enough. But yeah, we're a family now. There's the fathers and mothers, like Nightwing and Helena. There's the kids like Fox.
Fox. I have to agree with you there. Fox?
And me, I'm a kid, technically, in this clan. And yeah, it's just one humongous family when you look at it like that.
There is some truth to what you're saying, I have to agree. Alright guys, well, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. And be sure to tune in the next episode, which will be episode 6 of the JAWA podcast. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and good night or good morning, depending on what time it is. Take care.